Hello, hello.
Hello,
I'm Christian and I'm here with my lovely co-host.
Paula.
Hey, Paula. So today, I don't know what the weather's looking like over on your end, but over here it's been rainy all day. And you know what? That kind of weather for me just does not keep me motivated. How about you? What's it looking like over there?
It's um a little bit cloudy, but mostly it's sunny, and it's an unfortunate, oh my gosh, 96 degrees right
You're
now.
kidding.
Yeah,
It's
no,
in
I'm not.
it's
It's
in the 60s
so
over here.
it's so hot,
Oh no.
so hot that I don't want to even like step outside,
Yeah.
not even like 2 minutes, because it's
That's
hot, it's humid.
yeah. It's such a Florida
And
thing now.
yeah,
It's
but
on
it's
brand.
May. Can we please get a break till next month? But
Oh
no.
man. So you can always count on us to give you, the weather in two different places every time that we connect. Because, here in Delaware and Paula's in beautiful 96-degree Florida. Gotta
Mm.
love it. But that's us. We're bringing you like the different perspectives, the different flavors, and even different weathers. So go
Yep.
figure. So, like I said, it's just cloudy and rainy over here, and honestly, I'm having a tough time staying motivated. And it just and I felt like, wow, what are the odds? Because today we're gonna talk about staying motivated, and here I
Yep.
am feeling extremely, listen to me, extremely unmotivated. So let's just dive into
Okay.
that and talk about it because maybe by the end of this conversation, Paula, I will feel motivated.
For sure. Let's
We're talking about staying motivated, and especially when we have goals, right? Or we're starting over and we're starting off with these goals.
when we start something new, we're extremely motivated, and it's very normal to, lose that motivation at some point, and we just have to work on it. Not only when we're, starting a new goal or changing, just life motivation in
True.
general too. Sometimes you're just like, okay, why? Why did I wake up today?
Hmm.
Why do I have to go to work?
Sort of the
Um,
big why, huh? Because some
oh,
things, unfortunately, that we have to kind of we become sort of it becomes sort of automatically ingrained that we wake up every day, we know we have to go into work, so even when we're not feeling motivated, but the motivation at the end is like, if we don't go into work, we're not going to get
we don't get
paid,
paid.
right? So there's that motivation, but it's sort of something that's just a norm, a societal norm, I guess, or a common norm. But for those of us, if I think about like what we're doing, what you and I were doing, there are many days where I feel just highly motivated, and I know the reward is always great. Every time that we're able to cross off that thing that we're doing together, or get closer to our goals. But then something comes along, like a physical thing. Like this morning, I woke up feeling a little under the weather, and that physical piece of it is something that also can zap away that motivation. So,
Definitely.
those are some of those extra things in there that we don't plan for.
Yeah, just a setback,
A
but
setback. Yeah.
good to it's that's why you have to, right away stop and, remember your why you're doing this. Why you're completing this project, or why you're why do you have to go to work? But when it's a life change that you just made, and you're trying to, complete a goal or finish a project, find your why again. Stop for a moment and reflect on it and remember why. Why am I doing this?
Okay.
What's the end goal? And then you remember, oh, this is why I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there motivates you again, because you're like, okay, yeah, I'm doing this because, this is what I'm going to get out of it. And if that doesn't work because you're completely unmotivated, that's why it's important to, when you have your SMART goals, is to have somebody that holds you accountable. that you remember to, reach out to that, to your support system. Or, sometimes just putting on a song, like,
Yeah.
waking up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to go through this. And I'm like, okay, but I have my happy playlist and I'm gonna put it on right now.
Oh
You
my
hear
gosh, that's
those
one.
songs that, completely motivate you. And I have some of those and I have them and I put them on and
Okay. So you know what I'm gonna ask next, right? I'm gonna ask, so Paula's happy playlist. Okay, I have to hear. Give me, okay, right now, if you were like, oh, Paula has to, I have to go to my list and not and just pick that one song that gives you that little rush. What's that one song that Paula listens to that's like,
well, I have a few
okay.
that, but Unstoppable from Sia. So
Ooh.
the first song that I put on, um that right away just it snaps me out is Unstoppable from Sia.
Ah, that's a
And
great
I
choice.
love that song. And I'll put it on sometimes on repeat and that helps me.
Music just does something to the soul. It can put you in a mood where if you want to feel a little sad and emo, you can put something on. But often I will turn to music to just get myself feeling better, like just get that little motivation. And then even that, I'll put on my headphones so that way I can just hear it all and get it all, get that full experience. And I swear I used to like look at people that dance in commercials or dance in movies or TV shows, like you just see the one person, like the girl dancing in the living room. Dude, that's become me. Like I freaking do that now. Like I'll stand up and I'll
Well,
just
but it helps.
it
It
really
helps.
does. I get
It
up and I start like
really-
flailing my arms like that and just like I have a full freaking concert moment.
But after that, doesn't it help?
You know what? It does. Yeah,
Yeah.
it absolutely does. Man. You mentioned identifying your why, and I agree with that wholeheartedly because I keep little sticky notes, whether I hear a quote or I read a quote or I see something and I'm like, oh, that's great. I need to keep that somewhere where I can see it every day. I wrote this the other day because I was watching or hearing something as I was doing some work, and the guy said, shut up, suit up, and show up. And I know that sounds a little harsh.
Oh.
Sounds a little harsh, right? So telling you to shut up. And the way he broke it down, he's like, I know it sounds harsh, but he's like, the shut up piece is like taking a moment, whatever it is that's bothering me at that moment, that I'm going through, the voices in your head that are filled with self-doubt and a lot of that, it's like, shut that up. And also, one thing he had mentioned is shut up with the complaining. I was like, oh, why do I feel attacked here? Try not to complain out loud about the thing. And then the next one was suit up. Suit up meaning, get yourself together. I know it's the metaphorical, like put your stuff on, put your game face on, get ready. And then show up. Show up to the thing that you're either afraid to do or you've been putting off or procrastinating. Just show up. Even if you're just giving a small percentage, you still showed up. So here is us. We're showing up today.
We're having a few setbacks today, but
That's okay.
we found our motivation,
We
because
found a
it's our
motivation.
why.
I
And
found my motivation through Advil. Thank you, Advil. Please sponsor this podcast. Advil Sinus does
um,
wonders. That and nose spray, all of that helped. So thank you
I
for
have
for helping.
I have my essential oils going on.
Yes, and essential
Oh
oils.
man.
Shout out to the essential oils. Oh
Oh.
my goodness. But yeah, we're here.
Find your whys and then do that. Put on your favorite song, dance in the middle of your living room.
That's all right.
A quote that a favorite quote. I have a few that I've saved that whenever, I feel unmotivated, I'll read them all and but stop right away, stop, get your motivation back. Um, remember your why. And then sometimes in that moment of reflection, you have to adjust your SMART goals again,
True. That
you
is
know.
true.
I'll reach out. I'm like, I'll send you a text, or sometimes it makes me feel better and motivated again by just reaching out to people and see how checking up on them.
Yeah. Oh.
I did that this week,
You did that
and
this week with me too. Because you know that this was a transition week for me with these other opportunities. And so, I got your little text in the morning on Monday saying good luck with everything. And I was like, oh, like, so for you, you say that for you, it did good for you, right? Well, imagine for
yep.
the person you're sending it to. Like, it did a lot for me. So
But that's
it's a
how I find
win-win.
my motivation. Like I reach out, and believe it or not, I actually reached out. I'm like, I was thinking about this friend too, because I knew that you had changes this week. So I reached out to you, and then I just reached out to another friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in a couple of days, or actually weeks, because we're in a group chat, but I messaged her separately, and she was having a rough day.
Hmm.
And all
Look
of
at
a
that.
sudden, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad I reached out. And that made me feel better.
Um,
So just
you're
things like that. That's how I, motivate
was gonna say
myself.
you're like a little fairy of goodness. You're just going around sprinkling all this joy and just reaching out. But sometimes, right? Isn't
Good
it
try.
something like
But that makes
you have a connection, something tells
yeah,
it's almost like a pull that says, you know what,
right.
reach out
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. Well, it's, follow you and your intuition.
Hmm.
That's very big for me. Well, another thing, like your support system, like, you need to have someone, if you have your SMART goals set, you have that person that hold you accountable for doing it. Reach out to them, tell them, hey, look, I've lost motivation.
Help,
And
help.
and they already know that, you have this goal in mind because you've
True.
already, you set that up already. That's you should, if you're have a specific goal, and that person will tell you. Sometimes you just need somebody to tell you, get it together.
That's what it's like about.
Oh,
Just need someone to just kind of like, come on, girl, get it together. Get it together.
get over it and get it done.
Yeah.
Well,
So smart goals. Sometimes, yeah, you have to make those little kind of, again, stressing back on the importance of smart goals. I know that's something we have talked about, and being flexible enough to make those adjustments, like you said, like that's important. And also,
sometimes, yeah, sometimes you just need to, maybe you're unmotivated because you need to adjust your goal. You're losing um motivation because something is definitely going wrong, or it's because you're having too many setbacks. But like we talked about, setbacks happen, and you just have to plan for them. And it's hard, but they are going to happen. You are going to have a migraine. You're going to wake up with a migraine, and you still have to deal with it.
true, true.
You will one day have a flat tire.
Oof.
There will be a
Yeah.
death in your family, that
Mm.
it's life. And you have to plan for these things, unfortunately. And you will get through it. This
Through
too shall
it.
pass.
You will
Like,
get through it. I saw something, and I know I don't make a habit of quoting Angelina Jolie, but there was something that I saw. It was just a piece of a clip of a video where she talks about sometimes you just have to go through. You just have to go through it. You have to go through
yeah,
it with the ugliness and everything. And she mentioned you feel like it's a very real moment when you're feeling either down in the dumps or you're feeling angry that the thing, whatever it is that you're feeling, you have to feel it, and then but you still just have to just go through it.
yeah,
Go through it. I was like,
definitely.
yeah, it's like yeah, no one wants to just go through the ugliness, right? Because it feels uncomfortable and yeah, we don't feel
Oh,
our
but that's how
best,
we
but
grow too.
that's how we grow.
Yeah.
Growth, absolutely. You're spot on that. And also taking note that within even those hard moments, there's little things worth celebrating, like those little wins. Like
Yeah.
I will say, and I'm going to kind of take it back to, again, setting smart goals. So one of the things about I noticed that I wasn't hitting my 10,000 steps a day, right? Like I was having a, for whatever reason, I was just having a moment. I was having a hard time with that. And I kind of was sort of beating myself up, feeling like, oh man, I can't get to my 10,000 step goal. So you know what I did? I adjusted it to 8,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
Guess what? On most days, I am going above the 8,000 steps a day, but I'm not beating myself up on the days that I don't make, that I'm only able to make 8,000 or a little bit short of 8,000. So exactly what you said,
Yeah.
adjusting that. But then for me, it's like I celebrate the win. Is that okay? Within all this time, right now, I'm not hitting certain goals. Okay, at least I got up that morning and I was able to walk a little bit, right? Like maybe walk
Mhm.
15 minutes or stretch. That day was a day that I stretched, or a day that I got up and I actually, had all my to-do list in order and I didn't feel overwhelmed and scrambled when it was time for me to, jump into work or whatever. I don't know. Like, what are some
But
examples for you?
that's a good example of a way to that you could have lost motivation if you wouldn't have, reflected and adjusted your goal, you would have kept not hitting those 10,000 steps, and it was going to get to a point where you're going to be like, okay, I can't do this. I
Yeah.
quit.
Yeah, yeah. Or not even wear the Fitbit
Yeah.
or
And
just be like, forget
then
it.
that's worse. But you reflected, you found your why, you adjusted your goal. Um and now you're going, above that. So that's a perfect example. And you're celebrating your wins. That's another thing that I think we've also talked about. I, have a hard time patting myself in the back sometimes, and it's so important that once you're along the way that you're getting to your the end game, your major goal, that you're all these smaller goals, that once you're achieving them, you should be celebrating them. You should be giving yourself a pat on the back. The video that I saw on Instagram this week that I thought was amazing as motivation, giving yourself a prize when you reach a small step towards your goal is champagne bottles. Buy yourself your favorite champagne bottles, write down, you know, your end goal on one of them, and then break it down into different steps. So let's say, your end goal is on one bottle, and then you can break down that goal if it's if you're doing it in 6 months,
Mhm.
one bottle a month, get 6 bottles. Or if it's something that you have to achieve in 2 weeks, you
Right.
know,
You just drink all the bottles.
don't drink. Don't buy yourself 6 bottles
And
and drink
mimosas.
them every day. Come on, people. Um, but something like that, you write
Yeah.
down your goals, and once you're hitting certain steps, write down your steps on it, divide it however you see fit, and then celebrate. And then it'll help you feel better. It'll help you keep motivated, because along the way, you will lose motivation. It's normal. It's the motivation roller coaster.
I like
Like
that idea. I like that idea a lot. It's first of all, it's a visual idea, and then and it becomes an experience, right? Like that
I'm,
that treat.
yeah, I'm very visual. I need to, see stuff. That's why, we have
The
the
vision
list,
boards, yeah, and the lists and the vision boards. Absolutely.
and the vision board and the sticky
Um,
notes,
oh my
and
gosh.
you know, little cute stickers on
Yeah.
notes. And I'm
Everything.
very visual, and it's good to know that, this your reinforcement is coming.
Mhm.
Get to the next step. And it doesn't have to be with champagne bottles, because if you're trying, not to drink anymore, and that's your goal,
Yeah.
that's
So something I've
perfectly
I've tried, and you know what? Thank you. That I feel like this conversation is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's
motivating.
motivating me because something I did a while back, I used to set up on Amazon, I have, you can create a little wish list, like a little folder that's called a wish list. And so for me, like I remember I did this 12-week health program along in this Facebook group and all this stuff, and these ladies were awesome. And so we were all kind of keeping each other motivated, but I remember thinking, like, how cool would it be if every week or every 2 weeks, because for me, it was every 2 weeks, was my check-in, right? If I hit that goal of being able to keep X amount of workouts and eat clean or whatever it was I was doing at that time, in my little wish list, I had little gifts that I set out for myself that like in week two, if I completed week two, I would give myself a new water bottle, like a really nice one. If I was Once I was able to complete the next 2 weeks, I had like this new kind of expensive, not expensive, but this more higher end protein that I wanted to try. So then I buy that protein. And like each time my goals or like those prices were getting a little bit more expensive, I guess more expensive. Like, started with something small and then at the end goal I wanted to get like this I wanted to get a Peloton. Now, did I get the Peloton? No, I did not get the Peloton. I ended up getting something else, a cheaper version of the Peloton, because at the time it was very, very hard for me to justify paying that much money for a Peloton. But we pivot, right? But I was able to hit that goal, and I was very proud of myself. Me and the ladies in that Facebook group were all patting each other in the back. We all did really well. But again, kind of going back to everything we've discussed, having a support group. Some days I just wasn't feeling it, and then I remembered, and I did it. I pushed. I went through it, and I pushed. But again, that's life, man. No matter where you're at, how much experience you have under your belt, how much money you have, whatever. I think we all, right? It's a normal thing to lose motivation.
Yeah, yeah, it is. You know what I was thinking too that would help?
Hmm.
Um, for those of you that are visual, like like us,
Yes.
that we need to see it, to make like some form of like advent calendar, where you put every
Ooh.
day, like if you reach that step, like, some kind of celebration or some kind of treat. That would be cute too.
I love
Um,
that. An advent calendar.
yeah. So like every day, like, once you're you're checking it off. So
Yeah.
you're visually doing it. I mean, visually and physically, because you're checking it off. And then once you reach, give yourself treats, like a advent calendar
I
that you
freaking
to
love
open and you
that.
have a little gift like
Sure,
that.
sure.
I was just thinking of different options, not to, have to drink champagne every day.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to drink champagne every day, there's no
Hey,
judgment here.
we're not judging. Sometimes it's good to identify, it helps us at least identify, is this motivation something that is a sign of a deeper thing, like burnout, for example.
Well, yeah, well, that brings it back to the whole, like, if you're not celebrating each step of your goal, you're gonna burn yourself out because you're constantly trying to achieve this thing. You're giving it everything, but
Hmm.
you're losing your perspective. You're losing like your why and why you're doing it. And you're not a machine. You're gonna you have to do it at your own pace, and
Right.
life happens, and sometimes, you start strong and then you have a setback and you can't you you have to do baby steps to get back on. So self-care is important. uh, you stop, you reflect.
What's something that you would like that has worked for you in terms of like self-care and avoiding like the burnout that comes with, the go 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 of always trying to reach goals and realizing that sometimes you hit a plateau or you have a little setback. Like what's something that works for you or has worked for you in terms of self-care to get you back in a good space?
Well, for me, like I told you, like, stopping, putting on music, I like to read, so I'll read my favorite book, reaching out to people. Sometimes you just need to get it out.
Yeah.
Talk to someone and just vent. Sometimes
Right.
that's what you need, and that's good self-care too. You can't, build that all up inside.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the hardest part, right? Because we don't want to, sometimes we don't want to like feel like we want to burden others with our problems, but keeping it inside is just also not healthy. You know, if you're sitting there just sort of stewing over everything, it's also just not, it's just not healthy for you.
no.
No, you're absolutely right.
Sometimes you just need somebody to talk about it. Or sometimes because sometimes by saying it out loud, you figure out what's wrong and
True.
you can fix it.
True.
And then maybe just taking a nice bath.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to wash your hair and listen to good music and get over it.
Amen. And moisturize yourself. Don't forget to moisturize. Okay. Because
Please
that's like, listen, that's
moisturize.
one thing. I don't care what kind of day I'm having, I'm going to moisturize. I'm going to be
Moisturize.
coming out of here slicker than a seal. Okay.
Don't forget to moisturize. Mm.
Oh my gosh. Well, guess what? We had a couple questions come through in our DMs on our Instagram, and one person asked that they're working hard on their restart, but they haven't seen any major like results yet, and they're starting to feel discouraged. And they asked how, and the question is, how do I stay motivated when progress seems slow?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's gonna happen. We all lose some motivation. It's like we said, it's important to remember your why, like focus on your why. Remember why you're doing it. Celebrate your small wins, celebrate all the milestones along the way. Um, but that should help you find your motivation again. Listen to do a happy playlist like I do. Your happy
Yeah.
playlist, or I have all my favorite quotes and I have them all together and I'll just read them whenever I need to stay motivated. I'll do that. I'll read all of them. I'll listen to my happy playlist. Um, I reach out to all my friends, make sure they're all alive and doing well, and
Yeah.
that actually makes me feel good.
Aw.
So, and then if I can't snap out of it, I text you and I'm like, okay, I'm having a bad day. Please.
Aw. That's right, the reinforcements. You're bringing in the reinforcements. And I
Yeah.
would say, you know what, along with that, I would say like just track your progress, keeping a little journal. And I know like for me, I'm so inconsistent with journaling, but having like I constantly have some sort of visual reminder somewhere. Again, sticky notes, it could be on my phone. I have my notes app, or I'll just constantly like do little check-ins sometimes. And even when things feel really slow, there's something even within that that's so, even though
Yeah.
it's so small, it's like you said, worth celebrating that accomplishment, right? Like whether like, hey, today I put on my sneakers, okay? And that and that could be my win for that day, honestly. And also, I would definitely along with that, it's like kind of look for inspiration, and I think a lot of us tend to go to social media, right? Just for that quick little, like you scroll and you just scroll for a few moments and maybe see those great motivational quotes, or you see your friend is having a good moment or whatever. So sometimes I lean into that. Like I have managed to get my algorithm on my social media just right, where I'm seeing pretty much the same accounts that I like and all that. So even for those 5 minutes that I'm online, I know that I can get something positive. I'm not looking at a bunch of like terrible things happening in the world, but
Yeah.
that moment I can get that little bit of a boost. So definitely seek the inspiration, look for stories or of maybe other people who have successfully restarted later in life or are going through something similar like you. Sometimes other people's journeys can be a source of encouragement.
Oh, definitely. That helps me a lot. Um I like hearing different stories of people accomplishing different things.
Oh,
That helps so much.
absolutely. And then we had a second question. Can you believe this? We had a second question. It's like, I've tried all these productivity tools and motivational hacks, but they just make me feel even more anxious and stressed. What am I doing wrong? And I'm like, you know what? This one
Mm,
actually hit close to home because I thrive on the fact that I call myself a productivity queen, right? Because at least on paper, it all looks like I have my stuff together, but I have my days where I'm feeling just a little overwhelmed with all the excess of technology that I have or all these different tools that I have. So I feel like sometimes, a lot of these tools can be a little counterproductive. So something you can do is like, definitely everyone is motivated a little bit differently. Experiment and find what really works for you. I would say kind of like cut out the clutter of all these different tools, right? Like maybe focus, maybe take it to paper. Maybe that week it's just getting your notebook and just writing your things, your thoughts, your to-do list just on a notepad with a pen, and you're transferring all your thoughts, your ideas on that instead of having like five different, tools. I'm one of those that I have every app for that, right? Like every app for that. And sometimes I just can't. I just always go back to my trusty
yep.
notebook and like pen. And also focus on quality, not the quantity of don't get caught up in like there's this big hustle mentality, there's don't get too caught up on the hype on that, and prioritize the main things and work on self-care and make sure you just give some time for yourself to kind of like slow things down a little bit if that's what you need to do, or like you said, Paula, like maybe revisit your smart goals and see and make those adjustments.
I mean, if any of these productivity tools are causing you stress,
They're not work.
there's something wrong. So I
True.
please just stop what you're doing
Yeah.
and you need to adjust something.
True.
None of these things should be causing you stress, like, or feeling anxious. Like it shouldn't, because if it is, there's something wrong. You need to stop immediately what you're doing, and adjust your goal. Figure out what works for you, because I'm very visual. I need to see it. I write down my goals. Um, I need to, put a little cute sticker next to it or put it in different colors. That's me. But maybe that doesn't work for you. You need to find what works for you. But reflection, I think it's the most important thing for all of us. You have to stop and reflect. Like, find your why again, figure out your steps to getting there, and then figure out what's you're doing wrong that's causing you stress, because it shouldn't be causing you stress to use these productivity tools.
I hear
I
you.
mean, I
Yeah,
mean, it should be making your life easier.
that is true. I fall into the hype sometimes, and I can speak for myself in the sense that I have just this curiosity to see how things work, or if maybe this is the tool that's going to be the one that works. And like I said, I end up finding myself going back to those basics of just simplifying it. Nothing beats, honestly, in my opinion, nothing beats a pen and paper. I
No,
mean,
definitely. I feel like, the mistake that we all make, because you and I are definitely not perfect. We do lose motivation.
yeah,
We have to work on it. Um, and the thing that we always forget is that you need to stop. Take a minute or two and remember why you're doing this. Just by changing your perspective, it puts you back on track. But it's one thing that we're all used to doing, just going, 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 and not taking a moment to reflect. And that's a big part of staying motivated.
absolutely. And you know what? We want to encourage anyone that's listening, to kind of share with us, how did you get over, a hump? How did you stay motivated? Are there any tips or experiences you want to share with us? Please reach out to us on social media, or, go to our website at www.rebelizechange.com, and that's Rebelize. rebelizechange.com. And
And
just want,
if you need motivation, we're here.
we're here for you. We
We
can all start like little
your
unmotivated.
motivation fairies.
Yes, we're your motive. Well, Paula is definitely the motivation fairy. She's gotten me, she's gotten me through some moments. And today, like I'm telling you, and I sent you, and I'm just gonna put it all out there. I sent Paula a text. I'm like, Paula, I don't know if I can make it. I feel, I don't feel so well. And Paula, of course, being an empathetic person, she's like, I understand. Just keep me posted. And as I was feeling better, medicating myself and getting to a better place, she sent me she sent me one text, just like, hey, how you feeling? And you know what? And it was at that moment I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show up for my friend because showing up for my friend also means I'm showing up for myself. And here we are recording this episode. And just, I always like to leave with on a high note and sharing some love. But Paula, thank you. You got me here. And again, it sort of speaks to everything we've shared in this time together, is that sometimes you just have to like lean on someone to help you, you know, or just give you that little boost. So wanna
Oh,
say
I'm glad.
thank you,
I'm glad I
Paula.
can help.
And yes, so reach out to
And
us,
I want for my birthday, I want a fairy wand.
a fairy wand. Oh, like now. You can have.
For my birthday, I want a fairy wand.
So just want to thank everyone for listening, for tuning in, and just follow us on social media. Again, at Rebelize Change, either our website, which is rebelizechange.com, or on Instagram. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and I think we're even on Pinterest. So
Yeah,
make sure you give
we're
us a
everywhere.
follow, and and we want to hear from you.
Where do you find your motivation?
Where do you find your motivation?
Yeah.
Let us
Is
know. Where do you find your motivation? And also
And
let
if you
us know
can't find it, maybe reach out to us and we'll help you.
and we'll help you find it.
Yeah.
We'll help you find it.
Hey, sometimes you just need to talk to someone.
That's
To,
right.
they snap you out of it. Maybe you need somebody to tell you, hey,
A,
step
A.
out of it.
Step out of it.